Welcome to Day 77 on the Trail. We have 3 readings for today, from Acts 22 verse 30 through 23:11, Leviticus chapter 13, and Tobit chapter 4 verses 1 through 19. In the 4th chapter of Tobit, we find a final set of instructions from Tobit to his son Tobias. In this final testament, Tobit informs his son about the deposit of silver that he left with Gabael, and then offers his son some ethical instructions. Now, of special interest in Tobit's instructions for Tobias, we find the following in the first part of verse 15. What you hate, do not do to anyone. According to scholars, this is the first time this negative or passive version of the Golden Rule is recorded. That is, we are instructed not to do to anyone what we do not want done to us. In this way, inaction is acceptable. We do not have to act. This is why the commandment is considered negative or passive. A similar approach was taught by Rabbi Hillel in the Babylonian Talmud, Tractate Shabbat 31a, which tells the story of a man who came to Shammai and said, "Make me a proselyte," which is a convert or a believer, on condition that you teach me the whole Torah while I stand on one foot. Hillel said to him, "What is hateful to you, do not do to your neighbor. That is the whole Torah, while the rest is commentary. Go and learn it." Jesus, however, turns this passive commandment into an active one. In Matthew chapter 7, verse 12, Jesus says, "In everything, do to others as you would have them do to you, for this is the law and the prophets." For Jesus, the burden is on us now. We are to do unto others. We are not to sit back and wait. We do. Notice that the positive form includes the negative, but the negative does not necessarily include the positive. Jesus goes beyond situational ethics and, in fact, helps shape our perspective of God and the world. But this is just the first step. Look at Matthew 22, verses 34 through 40. And one of them, a lawyer, asked him, that is Jesus, a question to test him. "Rabbi, which commandment in the law is the greatest?" He said to him, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the greatest and first commandment. And the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these 2 commandments hang the law and the prophets." The ancient law codes contained in Leviticus can often be challenging for us as we read them in the 21st century. However, we need to remember that while we might not always understand the details of the commandments themselves or the reasons behind them, the lives of people were powerfully and dramatically impacted by them. For example, consider from our reading today Leviticus 13 verses 45 and 46. "A person who has the leprous disease shall wear torn clothes, and let the hair of his head be disheveled, and he shall cover his upper lip, and cry out, 'Unclean, unclean.' He shall remain unclean as long as he has the disease. He is unclean. He shall live alone. His dwelling shall be outside the camp." The word that is often translated leprosy covers a wide range of possible skin diseases. While leprosy itself, or Hansen's disease, was not highly contagious, other skin ailments were. Therefore, on the practical side, isolation prevents these diseases from spreading. However, this physical ailment also had a serious and painful social component as well. Beyond the physical ailment, the sufferer felt the anguish and pain of separation from family and friends, along with religious isolation. Now we see this in Luke chapter 17 and the story of the 10 lepers who encountered Jesus between Samaria and Galilee. In verses 12 and 13, it says, "As he entered a village, 10 lepers approached him. Keeping their distance, they called out, saying, 'Jesus, Master, have mercy on us.'" 3 words, keeping their distance. These 3 words speak volumes. If I place myself in the story, I have to wonder how it all started for each of these 10. Did a friend see a reddish spot on his hand and ask, "What is that? Did you cut yourself?" as he pulled away? Did a wave of fear or panic roll over him? Did he hide it from his wife? Did he wonder, could this be? No, surely not. There's no sense in getting word over nothing, right? So he waits a few days, but the spot continues to spread. At what point does he decide to go to the priest? He knows what this might mean. His mind races between an uncertain future and the growing distant past. Maybe, before going to the priest, he takes his children in his arms, one last embrace, just in case. After visiting the priest, does he turn and face home, hoping to say one last time goodbye from a distance? Or does he turn away with little hope of ever returning? So he walks down the street, alone, raising his head only to lift up his voice and mournfully cry out, "Unclean, unclean." But for the 10 who cried to Jesus that day, there was hope. Jesus simply told them to go and show themselves to the priest, and they trusted him. Taking Jesus at his word, they pointed their feet toward Jerusalem, and along their journey, they were made clean. Strength began to fill their bodies, and they reached to unwrap their bandages. The sores were gone. Fingers moved freely again. They could hold their children or run their fingers through their wives' hair once more. They were told by Jesus to go to the priest. That was his command. But one of them, a Samaritan, could not help himself. He turned back to thank Jesus. In Luke 17, verse 15, then one of them, when he saw that he was healed, turned back, praising God with a loud voice. He prostrated himself at Jesus' feet and thanked him. Yes, only one of the 10 returned to thank Jesus. Yes, perhaps the other 9 should have returned to give him thanks as well. However, the part of the story that really captures me is that this one man is not only able to thank Jesus, but now he is able to touch Jesus, to fall at his feet and worship and give thanks to the one who cleansed him, the one who gave him a new life and hope for the future. And this is something that all of us who have been forgiven, who have been made clean, should never forget. Thank you for joining us today. Until next time, stay on the trail.